How's everyone doing out there? It's my second video on YouTube. I decided to go ahead and make it a tobacco review. I've gained a lot from tobacco reviews on YouTube in the past, so I figured why not try to give a little back and yeah, make this my first real quote-unquote YouTube video and see how it goes. I don't really have a format to follow or anything like that. I think I'll probably just talk a little bit about the tobacco and what I think about it and things like that. In terms of moisture content and things like that, I mean, in my experience, it's been so highly variable. With the same producer, same blend, this and that, you get one tin that's real wet, and then the very next tin is like smokable from the beginning. So I don't know that moisture content is really tells anybody really that much. But we'll just see how it goes. I'll go through some of my thoughts on it and go from there. The tin we're going to review today is GLP Stratford. It's pretty good. I generally like GLP's blends. There's a couple I'm not a big fan of. Stratford. So the way I kind of gauge pipe tobaccos and for myself is probably 4 or 5 different categories. Let's see, we'll go don't like it, throw it away, right? Not for me, and I like it, and I love it. So I guess 4. Spoiler alert, I think Stratford for me is a like it. I like it, I don't love it. I think it is for me. I generally lean more towards Virginia Periques. I do like some stuff with some Oriental and some Latakia in it, or Latakia. But Virginia Perique, I think, is what I try to lean towards the most. I do have to say that before I move on, this tin is 10 years old. Maybe you'll see that there. I kind of dated it when I bought it, which was April of 2011. So I popped this tin a couple weeks ago, so it's more like 10 and a half years old now, which changes things. But tin note, I have also smoked a good portion of it. I'm probably 75% of the way through this tin or so. If you can take a look at there, let's get a little look. I don't know what it looks like when it's young. But there's some lighter colored Virginias in there, some darker colored Virginias, and then obviously like the Periques, which are almost like a jet black or a very, very, very dark brown, like a coffee looking, like a roasted coffee bean kind of. But the tin notes what you expect from a Virginia Perique tobacco. You have it's a little grassy, a little sour, and you got the deeper richness of the Perique, and obviously this being 10 years old is gonna make it a little bit more full. But there is a sour, like vinegar, like very much like a white vinegar smell there, which is a little off-putting when you smell it, but you don't really get it when you're smoking. So I'm guessing that's just a byproduct of some aging. But yeah, not, just I would call it a pretty standard Virginia Perique tin note. I guess it's a little bit akin to some of those McClellan blends in terms of the sourness, that kind of vinegary, ketchup-y type of sourness a little bit there. But I'm about halfway through this bowl. I like to smoke a half, at least a half a tin of tobacco before I really try to tell someone about it. I also like to get a little bit through a bowl, you know, before I start to talk about it. There's not a lot of surprises here for me. It's a Virginia Perique tobacco. You know, you can tell it's high quality leaf. The aging, I think, I would like to try this stuff young because it is, to me, it's a little bit one dimensional. And I don't know if maybe that's the, you know, the aging of it, the 10 years on that tin, but there's not a whole lot. There's not a lot that like really jumps out. You kind of get little bits here and there of, well, that's some good Virginia, and then you'll get the peppery on the nose of the Perique, and some of, you know, and that darker, deeper flavors of, like, people call it like stewed fruit, right? Like a stewed stone fruit or something like that. And you certainly do. I would say the Red Virginias and the Perique take over. On the tin description, it says there's delicately sweet brights and ripe Red Virginias, seasoned with just the right amount of Perique. And to me, the Red Virginias and the Periques are the ones that are really at the forefront. I don't get a lot of the lemony, citrusy brights, but once again, like I said, this is a 10-year-old aged tin. It's I think it's good. I think it's good. Like I said, I would like to try a young tin, something with less than a year age on it, just to see where that stacks up, where the flavors are on that. But if you're generally like a good Virginia Perique tobacco, I think you're gonna like it. Telegraph Hill is another one which some people have called, you know, very similar to this one. I don't remember ever smoking Telegraph Hill. But people say that what I've heard about it is that it's a little bit richer. Which, this is a very rich tobacco. I mean, sometimes Virginia Periques, they can be a little light. This is not light. You get good smoke volume. It's I would call it like a dark toasted, like sweet toasted flavor. I think it's really good. I don't know if it's in like my top 5 or anything like that, but I would definitely buy it again. Maybe smoke it a little younger. Well, not that it's bad, just to see what it is, what it's like being younger. But yeah, I think it's good. Probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm smoking in a little Tom L. Tang. This is actually the Sarah L. Tang line. I think when I bought it, I think it was like they called it like a little bent brandy, but it's got a little horn accent there, and it's a great little pipe. One of my favorites. I love Tom's stems. I really like a flat stem with a sharp but very minimal button. For that reason, I like Stanwell pipes as well. Stanwell pipes, the same thing. They're nice and thin and flat with a nice little button. So it's a good pipe. It's a good one for Virginia Periques as well. out in my garage. I got my loading bench right behind me, and I keep the garage door, depending on the weather. I live in California, uh, on the Central Coast, so generally it's fairly temperate weather. So I generally keep the garage door at some form of open. Right now it's about halfway open. I can hear the crickets and everything singing outside, and it's pretty nice. I have, maybe someday I'll kind of show it, but I have a wall, a bank of those metal racks, which I actually I bolted plywood on the backside of. So anything on this side, I have like hunting stuff, camping stuff, all those things like that. Obviously, I have my loading bench right here with which I keep a tarp on just to try to minimize the dust a little bit. And then on the other side is like my workshop side. I got my quad over there, some tools, and just that side's a total mess. But so is this side, really, to be honest. But I like, this is generally where I'm gonna be hanging out. If I'm home and I'm not with my kid or my wife or whatever, I'm generally over here, which is probably why it's such a mess, because I'm just always messing with stuff. But yeah, anyway, so like I said, I probably should come up with some sort of a form, some sort of a way to do these reviews so that I stay on track and actually talk about tobacco. But with this one, I don't really know if I have a whole lot to say about it. I mean, and that's gonna sound bad, but it's not meant to sound bad. I think it's just a good Virginia Perique tobacco. It's one of the older ones. This one was, I think, first produced in 2003. So I think that's back when Greg Pease was just getting going with the GLP's line. I know he had a line that he worked on for about 18 months before that, but I want to say that was maybe 2 or 3 years before before this was produced. I think he started with GLPs, I want to say in '01, maybe 2000 or 2001. And before that, like I said, he was working on a different project for about 18 months. So this is a older production, but it's very good. I mean, it is very good. I don't want it to seem like I'm talking bad about it, because I'm not. It's I think it's everything you would expect from a good aged Virginia Perique. It's dark and peppery and sweet, not lemony, not citrusy, but more like a toasted bread quality. You get like a little bit of that, like a roasted cocoa. I don't think that there's any topping on it, so I think, well, any perceivable topping. Um, yeah, it's a good tobacco. If you like Virginia Periques, or you want to look into Virginia Periques, I think it's a good one to try. Um, I, and you wouldn't go wrong. There may be better Virginia Periques out there that I like better, but they're probably harder to find. The nice thing about the Pease blends, Cornell and Deal and stuff like that, as long as it's not a small batch run or something like that, you can generally find it in stock somewhere. They're in production, so that's nice. I mean, the long golden flakes you can't find, the esotericas you can't find. Some of these things are just very difficult to come across, so that's a big plus in my opinion for Pease, for Cornell and Deal, some of these other companies that generally can keep this stuff fairly well in stock. They have good supplies of leaf. They have good business practices set up to where they can continue stay in production and produce a lot. So you really can't go wrong. It's a good tobacco. It's a high quality tobacco. It's a good blend. He did a good job on mixing components, I think, and it's available. I think it's a win. You know, I think it's a win of a tobacco. It's good. Um, I appreciate everybody's patience with me doing these reviews. I'm not super comfortable doing these videos yet, but it's something that like I said in my first video, I thought that I needed to do to sort of give back a little bit, and we'll see where things take us. I want to talk about. I've got some things I want to talk about with reloading. I got some things I want to talk about with pipes, with tobacco, this and that. I'm expecting a pipe. It's being made. Hopefully, it'll be here fairly soon. I'd love to do an unboxing video on that, so hopefully we'll be able to do that when that comes in, and do some more tobacco reviews. But if there's any, I mean, I'm kind of doing this for everybody out there. So if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, if I have knowledge of it, I'll do it. You just have to comment and let me know what it is. I'm not trying to do any of this for money or anything like that. Just let me know what you want me to talk about, and we'll talk about it. Some of these bigger channels that do some of these things, you know, maybe they can't keep up as much with that. Well, this isn't a big channel. I don't expect it ever to be a big channel. So if there are any questions, hit me up. Let me know. Let's, you know, if I have some knowledge on it, I'm glad to talk about it and share my experiences or whatever. But until next time, thank you.